Hi, this is the Curious Martian, and in today's video we are going to talk about blockchain gaming and taking a look at the blockchain gaming industry and see its downfalls and where they can improve to make it a successful industry in the future. As of today, blockchain-based games like CryptoKitties have become a huge trend in the gaming circle. There are many gaming concepts that are based on blockchain technology, and we are definitely bound to see more in the future. However, as of today, blockchain gaming has not really started to take off into the mainstream. There are actually many challenges that blockchain gaming has not overcome, and in this video I am going to get into some of them. One of the biggest hurdles that blockchain gaming faces is that of public adoption. The gaming community is actually very resistant to blockchain-based games, and we will also discuss that later in the video. First, let's look at what even is blockchain and how does it impact gaming. It's definitely something that's been on the trend for a few years now. So, as the name kind of gives it away, blockchain-based games are a new method of gaming that are based on the blockchain technology. Blockchain technology lets players leverage an up-to-date way of record keeping without relying on a centralized source. In practical senses, this enables players to actually transact value by trading items as a form of NFT, or even spend in-game currency and earn it, and then also trade it on other platforms outside of the game. Also, owning assets on a public blockchain opens the possibility for new game developers to create in-game content based off of existing NFTs, and this will in turn incentivize new players to join and try out the game. So let's use Minecraft for example. If there was another game called Blockcraft, and if Minecraft items, like for example the diamond sword that you enchanted and worked very hard to get, if that same item can be used in another game, if Blockcraft can implement that because that diamond sword is on a public blockchain, then you can seamlessly go into that new game with the same item. As far as the challenges of implementing this and why a lot of games don't have this feature yet is because of the challenge of finding good developers and the challenge of them understanding the blockchain-based gaming as a new business model. On top of that, since it is a new industry, it's hard to find technical talent with the shortage of software engineers as it is, or even someone with proper business acumen to understand the technicalities of a blockchain and how to make it practical enough to take advantage of it in a game. Most colleges today still teach outdated curriculums in regards to software development and business, so if someone really wants to go into blockchain, they still have to use online resources and mainly have to learn on their own. All of this is just to say that it's very hard to find proper talent to create and have a vision for a long-term based game. There are also other challenges that are opposing blockchain gaming, such as the challenge with dealing with the volatility of cryptocurrencies. For example, it would not be a good idea to spend your time grinding away at an in-game currency for a particular item to buy that you might not even know if that currency will be worth anything up the month after. In current day scenario, it's hard enough to balance in-game economics with fake money. It would be exponentially harder with money that can be actually traded on the open market. Another issue with blockchain-based gaming is the inherent limitation of blockchains. Games today run on a centralized database, and that is much easier to access versus a decentralized system where you're going to have an n number of databases to connect and sync up. So inherently it would be slower. The blockchain is not really designed for speed of gameplay at all. It is more used for making verified, trusted transactions. As a result, it can be difficult for blockchain-based games to grow in popularity and scale in size. However, there are some blockchain-based games that have been able to overcome this issue. One example that comes to mind is a game called Axie Infinity, which is a game that is based on the Ethereum blockchain and has been growing in popularity as a result of the speed of its own sidechain. What Axie did was that it used its own sidechain so that transactions happen much faster when compared to the Ethereum blockchain. However, the trade-off is that it is less secure. Now that we talked about some of the challenges, let's see what are the main difference between a blockchain-based game versus a centralized game that we come to know today. The main difference between blockchain-based gaming and traditional games is that the game is hosted on a decentralized network. In a traditional game, the only person who is hosting the game is the person who creates it, or on the server that they rent out and they get to control. In a blockchain-based game, the game is hosted on a decentralized network of computers that is replicated across each one of them. This means that a decentralized network of computers is hosting the game, and there is no one person who has control over it that can just shut it down anytime. If one node shuts down, other nodes in the server can still act on behalf of that shutdown node and can continue the game. So the best thing about a blockchain-based game is that there is really no company in charge. Anyone can really create a game and host it without paying a third party for the privilege. But you might wonder, who maintains the system and who gets to decide what future changes to be made to a game? Well, a lot of blockchain apps incorporate decentralized autonomous organizations known as DAOs or DAOs. DAOs let stakeholders in the app's token vote on future changes in the app or the protocol itself. For example, let's take a look at Uniswap. Uniswap is a decentralized exchange that lets you swap tokens that is also hosted on the Ethereum network. The exchange has their own token that users of the app can buy with other tokens. Whenever there is a change to the protocol that requires community input, the stake that you have in your token represents your voting power. So in the gaming world, there could be a DAO with a correlation between the in-game currency and voting power to make future changes. Along with that, the game could have a treasury where they can pay core developers a salary to maintain and upgrade the system. This makes it so that we do not have a heavy hand from one single entity or company that can change the direction of a game at a moment's notice. And in my opinion, this is really the main selling point of blockchain gaming. Blockchain gaming has been a growing industry for a few years now, but there are still many obstacles that it has to overcome before it becomes the industry it promises to be. If it is to become a mainstream industry, it needs to be able to establish itself as a viable option for every gaming community and gamers alike. Even though we talked about why blockchain gaming could potentially be better than traditional gaming, we are just still not seeing the adoption yet. And this in itself has become a chicken and an egg problem where there are not enough blockchain developers motivated because there are not enough players who are willing to play the game. And there are not enough players to play the game because the games are not good enough for that blockchain developers still need to develop and work on. There is also a fine line between making a game genuinely fun to play and also making a game a boring, monotonous grind. This is such a hard task, but ultimately the game developers and community should be responsible to balance this out. Reason being, the main criticism today for blockchain gaming is that people are more into blockchain gaming for the speculative investment and money rather than the fun and enjoyment of it. So in the future, the playability and fun must come first, and the trading/making in-game currency should be a nice feature rather than the main reason someone plays a particular game. Because if you think about it today, gamers, they also acknowledge that playing video games is not very productive and can even be considered a waste of time, but they willingly do it because it is fun. Therefore, in my opinion, the most important thing to make a blockchain game successful is that it should be fun to play. And in order to overcome this issue, there needs to be a lot of work done in the coming years in order to make the industry a viable option for every gaming community and gamers. But as the tools like NFT and its utility along with in-game currencies getting more and more popular, blockchain gaming looks very promising still. However, I just think that we should not focus on the short-term money grab from the player base, but instead think more long-term and sacrifice immediate speculation in order to see a more revolutionary blockchain game in the future. That pretty much does it for this video. I am very happy to share with you the challenges of blockchain gaming and also the long-term vision on how we can make blockchain gaming better. This industry is definitely still at its infancy, and there are many challenges that lie ahead. From making sure to get the end-game economics right, and also having an adapting system that the player base can decide where to go, and also making the game not too focused on the money, the challenges are really not easy to overcome. but we will always try to stay positive and hope the best for this industry. Again, this is The Curious Martian. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and see you next time.